Hello everyone. Once again, I would ask that if you want to tell me any ideas you would like me to hear about changing the possible schedule for this vlog, please do comment below. Find me on Facebook or Twitter and let me know there as well if you possibly can. And just look up Mad Inc. Anyways, you are now watching the Ghost Rider vlog. So, today's episode is going to be book number 23. We have a fairly decent cover. Not extremely awesome or anything, but a decently well done one compared to some of the iffy artwork we occasionally get on covers lately. And we've got a new villain called the Water Wizard. Kind of up there with Weather Wizard, isn't it? Also, I would say that the costume is just about as silly. But I will say that the powers are unique and cool. Kind of, if you will, a waterbender. I don't know much about the last Avatar series. It's not something I particularly have focused on, but I will say that I know the basic gist of it, and essentially what we have here is a villain who can control water and can make anything out of it, including our humongous humanoid friend there who is attacking Ghost Rider on the bike. Also, I will say, before we get started on the plot, that the artwork in the book was spectacular this week. I think it's possibly the same artist or someone with similar chops who started off the book. It's very much a horror art style, especially when it comes to the Ghost Rider, because they did some really nice detail in the skull and everything. And they also did some nice shadowy artwork when needed, so kudos to the inker. And, of course, the colorists aren't usually too bad either, although there are missed spots here and there, but then again, you gotta take something that freaking huge and turn it into something that small, and everything can go awry when you print it, so. But anyway, overall artwork really good this week, or for today's episode, rather. So we get an introduction to the Weather Wizard right after apparently Ghost Rider had helped the champions again. Apparently he is a pseudo-regular member. He's not like a permanent stay-on member. He just pops up when they really need him the most, and even they're apparently very nervous about him lately. Probably due to the whole spook show thing that he does, and the fact that he admits openly, while as Ghost Rider, that his abilities come from hell. Even his co-members of the champions are kind of questioning it, and they're going, you know what, maybe he's right. I don't know where his powers come from, but those aren't just mere tricks. So he manages to run off. He even makes a little fire ramp to jump a small wall in a back alley to hide himself and becomes Johnny Blaze again. He then takes a taxi and takes the taxi all the way back to the studio just in time to get in for work. Other than that, he has more or less a normal day for the rest of the day, but as he was taking the taxi, a bank was being robbed by the Water Wizard, who starts off everything by making a fire hydrant erupt with the big watery creature that we see on the cover. He then uses said creature to bash through a wall and break open a safe. He then steals a briefcase while he also has the water system tangle everybody up with water tendrils and again trying to prevent people from chasing after him as he leaves. He then sends the creature after the police as they are starting to close in on the bank as he's preparing to leave. They obviously can't focus on trying to chase after a van while a giant creature is literally taking police officers with one hand and tossing them around. And after a few minutes of keeping them busy, the creature is finally let go and just becomes a puddle on the ground. A little while later, the Weather Wizard and apparently his pal called the Mole are together and they're celebrating their new victory. And the expert usage of the Water Wizard's new powers and his first attempt to rob something, they are also starting to cook up further plans to become extremely rich and powerful in LA and take over the state, possibly. However, they are then approached by the Enforcer, But then they are approached by the Enforcer, and the Enforcer is offering them a chance at $1 million easy if they can take care of the Ghost Rider. The Water Wizard knows who Johnny is and takes up the offer and goes after him the next day while he's working. He's preparing to take a water stunt, however the waterfall suddenly reaches out and attacks him. He has to become Ghost Rider temporarily in order to have enough strength to escape and not die while drowning. And shortly thereafter it becomes normal again, but when he tries to chase after the Water Wizard, he and his partner have already disappeared. At this point, Johnny is kind of figuring that it must be the Enforcer, and that the Enforcer must have something to do with the head of their studio, and that whoever attacked him was obviously hired by the Enforcer. So he heads off to the studio manager's mansion that night, and is instantly attacked by the water fountain, which first of all makes a giant hand to hold him, then tries to make a giant axe to chop him to bits. He manages to defeat that and continues to chase after the Water Wizard, managing to survive a typhoon while also shooting him with hellfire. And apparently that stopped the Weather Wizard, but also the typhoon hits him against a wall and renders him unconscious. Then we see the shadowy form of their boss as he looms over Johnny and goes, "You've made a foolish decision to come here and try to attack me." And that's the end of our book. Cliffhanger for next issue. So, gonna be going for a full 4 episodes, I think, this for today's filming schedule. And I will see you all next time when we find out what happens next. See you all then.